I reached out to a seller, and right off the bat, they were asking me for 90K. They wanted 90,000 for the lot. I'm not going to negotiate with them. I said, okay, perfect. We'll do the 90K. Sent them over a purchase and sale agreement. We got it signed. Our company signed it. The owners of the lot signed it. And then I shot that deal over to the buyer. The buyer said, hey, we're good to go. We'll pay 120 for it. And all I did was write up an assignment, which just said, my rights to my underlying contract, Delrio Wealth Partners, which is our company, going to X builder. This is the price. This is the date they're closing. And at the time of closing, I am going to get a check in the mail for the difference of 30,000.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kessel, and today I'm joined by someone I'm looking forward to chatting with, Rick Delrio, who is making serious moves running a land acquisitions company. So excited to have you here, Rick.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Sure. I think our listeners are really going to take something away from how you're approaching managing your investments and developments. So let's dive in.
Absolutely. Let's get right into it.
Yeah. So first off, for those who are not yet familiar with you and your world, can you share what your main focus is these days?
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, my name is Rick Delrio. 5 years ago, I got into real estate. I started off as a residential realtor, like most people. Didn't know the best path to get into. Luckily, I got into wholesaling, which for those of you guys that do not know what that is, it is essentially connecting a buyer to a seller the same way that a realtor does. However, you're just flipping two pieces of contract. So you're basically the investor yourself, but you don't need to actually close on the property, need the capital. You don't need a license to do it. And you can do it basically fully virtual. So we focused on land acquisitions, working with builders and developers. Started off in the state of Florida, grew that network to about 680 active builders and developers here, scaled that business to doing 7 figures a year. And today, from the relationships, obviously the capital we were able to create from it, the relationships we built with developers in that industry, it's led us to actually start developing ourselves while still having, a consistent cash flowing business there.
Amazing. That is such a cool opportunity that you're focusing on.
It's very niche. Yeah, it's very niche.
Did you get started? I know you mentioned a little bit about the journey, but yeah, I would love to hear what kind of led you on this path.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah, so it's interesting. If you're familiar with wholesaling, you're probably familiar with residential wholesaling, which is for houses. It's been around for decades. That's what almost everybody knows about. Now, my business partner, he used to be an acquisitions manager for a Jill Home Buyer. They're one of the largest wholesaling franchises in the nation. They focus solely on houses. He used to give me a list of leads, people that would, opt into their website but never answer the phone. And one of those leads happened to be a 10,000 square foot vacant lot in Port St. Lucie. And I was calling these leads and I skipped over that lead. I was like, I'm looking for distressed houses. What am I going to do with this vacant land? I thought nothing of it. So he ended up calling that lead. He got that property under contract with the seller and ended up selling it to a builder. They closed in 15 days and he made $26,000 on that deal, which was for me at the time getting started, like insane. I needed that money. I needed that. It was a major opportunity. So once I saw that, I saw the opportunity in land development, not only because of, how quick the process was and really how nobody really knew about it, but the volume and scale that these builders and developers actually purchase in. Your average real estate investor, average, right? They're maybe buying 3 to 4 properties a year, doing 3 to 4 flips a year. These builders we work with are buying 50 to 100 lots every single month. And there are thousands of them. So, they want to work with people like us. They need to work with people like us. The more lots we're able to do for them, the more builds and business they can do. So it's just a great opportunity for both sides. So that's how I got started in it.
Yeah, amazing. So inspiring. As you've been on this journey, what are some of like the main obstacles that you've encountered?
The main obstacles, right, is just perseverance. I would say perseverance. You're going to run into a lot of people that tell you no, a lot of people that reject your offer. You might even get some lots under contract that builders reject. And it could be a little disappointing. Like, oh man, this isn't working. But you never know. That next phone call you make, that next builder you speak with could be like the deal that changes your entire trajectory. So I would say perseverance through that, sticking with it until it works. I'll say firsthand, it took me 6 months to close my first deal. A lot of people quit after, a couple weeks of not seeing results. And if you're in real estate, success doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, but if you stick with the process, it's going to pay off. So I'd really say just perseverance and, learning from the mistakes and adapting to wherever the market is. A lot of people might think like, oh, the market's not good, interest rates are too high, and it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. People are going to buy real estate no matter what. There's always going to be opportunity in real estate. You just have to learn how to adapt and how to adjust to make your business work.
Yeah, I think the adaptability and the pivoting is a big part of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, so a lot of the listeners are investors, whether they're newer on their journey or they're looking to expand their skill set and level up. What's some advice you would share for the people that are earlier on in their journey that are looking for the right skills to grow their business in a successful way?
If you're looking to get into real estate, I would say first you have to analyze what your strong suits are. Are you a relationship person? So, not everybody is cut out to be a real estate investor, but you still may have an asset that you can provide to, whatever it is that you're looking to do. If you're more tech savvy and you're more of a numbers person rather than, but you're not like a relationship person. You're not the person that's going to get in there and close a deal. Maybe not right off the bat, because you could always train yourself to become that person through time and experience. Maybe work with somebody and just help them on underwriting opportunities. If you're a person and your strong suit is building relationships, building connections, I'll say this, right? I'll say the number one thing that you have to do is simply just do it.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
as I told you, we're getting into developments ourselves. I was in my local market here. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. I was driving around Victoria Park, pretty high end neighborhood. And that's where I'm planning on doing my next development. Hadn't done one there before. And I just started driving around. I saw a brand new construction house being built. And I don't know anything about this market, but I called that developer that was on the sign for the house building. I just simply introduced myself. I didn't come in there like a professional, like a know-it-all. I just said, "Hey, I see you have this build going up. It's a beautiful build. I'm planning on doing a build here as well. I would love if we could just maybe grab a bite, get together, and I could pick your brain. And maybe I could even, because you still have to try and offer some sort of value. Maybe I could even try and source your next lot for your next project that you're doing." He invited me to his office, sat with me down for almost 2 hours, offered me the opportunity to do any sort of partnership with him on my build that I do. And, a lot of times you just got to jump. You got to jump straight in the water, get into it. Can't be scared of rejection and just get straight into it because you never know what opening that door might lead to, I'll say.
Yeah, definitely. Those connections and relationships and taking action are really important pieces of the business.
Yeah.
Cool. So, when it comes to land acquisitions, like how exactly does that differentiate from other types of investments?
So land acquisitions is pretty unique. I would say it's one of the few sectors of whether it's real estate flipping, buying, holding, whatever it is that you can do practically sight unseen. We've closed about 650 transactions in the last 24 months, and I've never been to one property, never in my life. And when we were doing like wholesaling for houses, even when we did 4 flips last year ourselves, right? There's never a time where unless you're like a big hedge fund or private equity group where you're buying sight unseen, somebody has to go out to that property. Somebody has to take pictures. A lot of times you'll deal with people say, "Hey, my house is in, pristine condition." You get in there and, there's a hole on the roof. Those are just things that you don't deal with land. Um, and I would say obviously the consistency in these markets. So, when we're targeting, analyzing a good market to actually do acquisitions in, we're looking for a few things: consistent sale prices, consistency in the size of the land. So it's like when I, do any sort of marketing, whether it's off market, I'm on Zillow making my offers. Once I know a base price of what these builders are paying, I know I just got to get that property for a little bit less. And usually all the lots are the same. We're checking the flood zone, the wetlands map, verifying utilities. And after that, I mean, I'm set to go on my offer. But it's very rare. Like you're never going to run into a house where it's like identical to the house next door. It just doesn't happen. Every house is different, all different conditions. It's a very plug and play. And one of the safest models you could get into, because like I said before, there is no risk to your actual capital when you're doing this. And it's very rare you can, brokering a deal is really the only way you can do that without risking your own capital, right? So
Yeah, amazing. When you say like you can do that without risking your own capital, what does that look like?
yeah, so at least in our business, the way that we have it structured, we move our contracts via assignment. So obviously you have whether it's, your state, verified vacant land contract that the realtors use, or it's a, purchase and sale agreement that you downloaded from a PDF off of Google. You have a clause in that contract that states assignability. It's verified by, the board of commissions for realtors, everything. And that assignability clause just allows you to transfer your rights to the original purchase and sale agreement over to someone else. So when we get a property under, like we just got one last week, right? We got a property under contract. I had a builder reach out to me. They were like, "Hey, Rick, we're looking for land in X neighborhood. We're paying $120,000.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I reached out to a seller, and right off the bat, they were asking me for 90K. They wanted 90,000 for their lot. I'm not going to negotiate with them. I said, okay, perfect. We'll do the 90K. Sent them over a purchase and sale agreement. We got it signed. Our company signed it. The owners of the lot signed it. And then I shot that deal over to the buyer. The buyer said, hey, we're good to go. We'll pay 120 for it. And all I did was write up an assignment which just said, my rights to my underlying contract, Deltero Wealth Partners, which is our company, going to X builder. This is the price. This is the date they're closing. And at the time of closing, I am going to get a check in the mail for the difference of $30,000. So I'm not incurring any transaction fees, any closing costs. It's just a clean assignment. The builder takes on, the deal. They do their own due diligence and they close once it's approved for closing. So that's all assignability is. You can do that for literally anything in real estate. You could do that on a 1,000-unit building if you wanted to. It's all the same.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing your insights.
Yeah.
So, what are you most focused on solving or scaling to next in your business?
So the biggest thing that we're focused on scaling right now, I would say, is helping others get started. That's the where the majority of my focus is. I've already been able to build systems in place for my actual wholesaling business, building the right team in place, where I spend maybe 1 to 2 hours a day in it. And, it's done and it's still going to cash flow us. We have our acquisitions managers that underwrite and close deals. We have a disposition team that gets the deals that we have and sells them to the builders in our network, and also focuses on building and creating new relationships with builders. And, transaction coordinator basically runs the entire process where we're basically hands off. So, I spend every morning training my team, putting their calendar in place. And my other focus is just working with the students in my community, people that are already getting into wholesaling vacant land or looking to get started in it, and making sure that they succeed in it. We've had some crazy, crazy results, just like one of our students, they've been here for about 2 months. They've done 65K in profit, which is pretty crazy, just like plugging in the exact blueprint. And then obviously focusing on taking the capital we make and doing actual developments. So, and just to like feedback on your original question is, what can you say to new investors? New investors, like I would say, is focus on stacking up that capital in a low risk way to the point where you could actually become an investor. Because you'll see people, they'll have some money to their name, but they don't know how to underwrite a deal. They don't know how to determine a market or know what price they should be listing or the cost of materials and stuff. And just because you have money and get into real estate doesn't mean you're going to buy a property, put some work into it, and, make a 20-30% return. There's a process that's involved in that. But if you're able to build capital while learning that process, by the time you actually learn it, you have the money. Now you can start safely investing into doing projects, buying holds, underwriting deals properly. Yeah, that's our biggest focus right now. We built up the capital, we built up the team. Now scaling into what, like I said, what I would call the big leagues, which is developing ourselves.
Exciting. I love that you're educating people too. Is that like an online platform?
Yeah. Yeah. So we host it on Slack. That company for us, it's called Dirt to Deals. We got a good amount of members in there, and it's just a really good community. Like I tell everyone, I told you before we met, my strong suit personally, I'm a relationships person. I'm amazing at building a friend, and I like to do business with friends. I don't like it to just be platonic, like, hey, buy this lot from me. Like, hey, how's your day going? So real estate is all about your network. Now, when you can have a network of individuals and I come across a deal and I'm like, hey, we just got this at X price. Can someone bring us this for X price? And now somebody else has the opportunity to partner up with us on that deal or vice versa. It's a great community. A lot of people getting started in real estate, they don't have a network. When I got started, I didn't have guidance. I didn't have anyone. It took me 3 days to write up my first FAR bar. I didn't know what I was doing. So yeah, it's a good community. It's a good network, and it's all about building something where like everyone can actually succeed in real estate. So
Absolutely. Yeah. So you've mentioned a lot about networking and relationship building. Are there specific like tools and tactics that have made the biggest difference for you?
I mean, biggest tools and tactics. I've always been like a cold caller. I started off as a door-to-door sales rep for a solar company, so I was, I'm used to phones getting hung up on me, doors getting slammed in my face. At the end of the day, you just got to keep going. Eventually, you're going to get the hang of properly speaking to people and learning how to do that. You just got to keep going, keep building relationships. Like I said, I'll drive around, anywhere you live in, you're going to find people flipping real estate, building brand new developments, no matter what the case is. And they're always going to have their company and their number on the front of that. Drive around your city. Go on Zillow, for instance. Literally go on Zillow. Look at new construction being built. Find a little pocket, where there's a bunch of developments going on. Drive around to that address. Call the number there. Hey, I'm in front of your build right now. It looks awesome. I'm looking to branch into the space. Obviously I'm new, but I was just wondering if I could pick your brain, ask you some questions. Literally you just got to do it. You got to pull the trigger. And you can't be scared of rejection. That's really all it comes down to, but cold
Totally.
calling and driving around, those are things that have been around forever, will be around forever. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think exactly what you said, like not being afraid of the rejection and just going for it.
you got to, yeah, absolutely. You have to.
Amazing. So, if people are curious about your online platform, are there any requirements to join or it's for any type of investor?
I mean, it's for everyone. It's for everyone. I have people that have came in here that have never even considered a minute in their life wanting to get started into doing real estate, but they always wanted to take that next step into building financial freedom. And we all know, right? Most people that have achieved it probably achieved it through real estate. I have people that are already doing 6 figures a month in their actual real estate business. I have builders and developers that want to get started into wholesaling vacant land, especially flippers, because I mean, a lot of them don't have an actual cash flowing business on a month to month. So you get into a project, it might take you 3, 6, up 18 months before you see a paycheck from it, which is why we focused on building the cash flowing business first and then reinvesting that into doing larger projects at scale. So, whether you're new to it, like whether you're in college, you have free time, you want to get into real estate, we have the right path for you to help you get started in it.
Amazing. Well,
Yeah.
before we wrap up here, if someone wants to reach out, connect, learn more, where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm most active on Instagram. My Instagram is Ricky Del Rio underscore RICKYDELRIO underscore. I do a lot of informational content in there about wholesaling. I do a lot of content about my community and my members and the success they've been able to achieve, and a lot of tips to help you get started into wholesaling. Whether you're looking to get into it, scale into off market softwares or completely for free, just like I got started. We have a good structure in there to help you. So yeah, Ricky Del Rio. You can find me on Instagram.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate your time, your story, and your perspective. Thank you for
Thank you.
being here.
Thank you, Michelle. Have a good one.
Of course. For the listeners tuning into the show, if you got value, make sure you've subscribed. We've got more conversations coming with operators like Rick who are building real businesses. We'll see you on our next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.